With all the amazing shows coming out this season, I think a show like Shadow's House could easily be overlooked. My hope is that because it has such a unique aesthetic, even those who would normally sleep on it probably will, hopefully anyway, check out the first episode. And if anything, I'm here to say, please, for the love of God, watch Shadow's House. This is a show that I think, if you were to ask me how to sum up the first episode, I would say it's a creepy slice of life. That's probably the best way to put it. You have essentially what are appearing to be the humans of the world, the Shadow family, that are literally just covered in shadow, and they have dolls that are basically designed to be their faces. Those that they can, when they walk around, people will know that's Kate, even though they all look pretty much the same, given they have no features. You have your dolls, which she ends up naming hers Emilico, which is such a weird concept, but once I saw the episode within minutes, I realized how brilliant of a concept it was to have, essentially, by the looks of it, this girl, Kate, does nothing all day and all night. She is in a room, she doesn't leave. She has a bath, she has some tea sometimes, she reads a book, she gives orders to her doll, and then she goes to bed. That is essentially her life, and when Emilico wakes up and starts her day, because it's seemingly she was built to function as similar to a human as possible, she is a very energetic and clumsy character who, watching these two, it feels like it should fail on paper, because a lot of times I feel like anime and manga, they get a lot of emotion through the eyes. Eyes are a great way, or a window to the soul, so to speak, in order to convey emotion. By having one of your central characters have essentially a nonchalant attitude and vocal performance. She doesn't show a lot of range, and the most emotion we see physically is just a little glimpse of a smile, because otherwise it's just a black blob in pretty beautiful clothing. But then you have Emilico, who is very energetic and bubbly and just wants to serve Kate in the best of her ability. But the fact that I felt so much emotion off of a character that on paper should have no emotion. You can't see the face, you have no real range in the vocal performance, it's someone who's bored of life by the looks of it. Yet it felt like, because of the mystery and the aura surrounding her, and the great way that they actually have to show emotions every so often, essentially like a steam whistle on a train, her head will radiate like soot. That's such a weird but amazing way to say this world is already interesting enough when you say that your mirror is what seems to be the most human thing here. But now that you have this almost like a magical way of showing emotion, what in the hell happened to humanity? Has it always been like that? What is going on? And what is the purpose of the Shadow family? This is one of those shows that it feels like it's gonna be a lot of show don't tell. I feel like this episode probably did show a lot more than maybe even the source material. That's just a gut feeling I have, because given the way the episode functions, I'm curious if some of the dialogue that happened in this episode, like the fact that she pretty much drops the fact that you are supposed to be our face and you're basically our mirror, and it's actually prohibited to dress you up in the same way as me. I'm wondering if some of that stuff comes later on, or if maybe the anime is just following page for page. Either way, I love how they directed this episode, because it makes your mind wonder about where all the other families or the other people in the Shadows family are going to go, especially considering that one doll gave a pretty nasty look to ours, and I think that could be bad, because in this episode, even though this was basically her first day on the job, she was breaking things left and right. It seems like this is a very prestigious royal-like family. If they ever leave, right? Because it seems like she's not supposed to leave without, obviously, Kate. But at the same time, I feel like whenever they do, she's going to be a clumsy mess, or she's going to say the wrong thing. Because there's constantly this question, am I defective? And it feels like she's saying no, but it also feels like maybe she is in a way. It almost feels to me like the dolls are supposed to be the people themselves. I'm not sure if it's some sort of they make the personality like they were before. Because I'm curious, because visually, Kate and Emilico look identical, just one has details and one doesn't. There's plenty of shots that basically look like they're looking into a mirror, just with opposite effects. So I'm curious if someone like Emilico is who Kate used to be before maybe this soot thing took over, or is that who she wants to be? There's a lot of questions going through my mind about, is the dolls who they are, or is it who they want to be? Because it's such a weird, but I think amazing concept to have going forward. Because this episode took place in 2 rooms in a hallway. the room she woke up in, the room that Kate's a part of, and the hallway to get there. That's pretty much all that happened in this episode. In a boring bedroom with a girl who's bored out of her mind, teaching a doll how to read, giving her bread. Apparently her bread is actually way shittier than the ones that they get, so we know that they eat anyway. What's going on in this world, and why did this all happen? I don't know. I feel this thing, this kind of like, it almost feels like you don't want to go into a dark alley. It's like, oh, there's no lights, there's probably nothing there, but we're scared the boogeyman's gonna pop up. Here, I feel like the boogeyman will pop up. And I think in terms of like having you say, I want to see more, only certain series can get that reaction out of you where you feel like this is a world unlike anything we've seen, whether it's light novels, mangas, anime, whatever it is. And I think Shadow's House did a great job. It's one of those shows usually I wouldn't want to come up and talk about week after week, but by giving it that air of mystery, even if most of what happens in an episode is general slice of life banter, the way the personalities clash off one another or actually amplify the other, like the idea of someone like Emilica wanting to put makeup on her to see her details, and that's considered like taboo, and we actually did get a glimpse of skin when she did put the powder on her face. There's clearly a lot of things being hidden from these characters, I think on both sides, and by having it slowly but surely reveal more and more as the slice of life scenes happen, what could it build up to in terms of a bigger and bigger plot? Like, that has me very excited. The music choice as well was actually surprisingly interesting. I don't think there was any lyrics in the opening song and the ending song as well. It feels like it's supposed to make you have feelings with the emotion rather than having a singer try to invoke them in you. A lot of times with music, the lyrics and whatnot are the way to capture the story, but it feels like a lot of what we're seeing and hearing here is meant to just like say like this is creepy visually or this is creepy just with the sounds happening in the song. It's just so interesting. It felt like this was going to be a show. It would be hard for it not to be engaging just because when the hell do we see shadow faces like this? But really watching something that should just be pure horror have this bubbly normal slice of life energy kind of like trying to keep it all normal when really there's nothing normal about this. That's the type of like interesting contrasting beliefs and ideals that I love to see in stories like anime, and things that really only the anime and manga and light novel medium can do. And in this case, really anything like manga or anime, because you need the visuals to really, I think, help capture the insanity and the weirdness that we are seeing. Just incredible. Yeah, this is going to be a show I'm going to love covering week by week. I think it will probably be the most underrated show on the channel I'm going to cover. Maybe I'll be surprised and a lot of people will want videos on it and will be watching it, but for me personally, this feels like it's probably going to be a me show. But I would appreciate it if anyone enjoyed the video to definitely leave comments and likes, as it does help grow the reach of these videos. I'm going to cover it for all 13 episodes that it's going to be airing for, but if you could do me a favor and just help promote the video, because series like these do have a harder time reaching new people just because there's not as much buzz and hype around it. And of course, as always, remember to leave your thoughts and feelings on this episode down below, because I would love to know everyone's feelings on this incredible debut of Shadow's House and where you think it might go. I'd definitely love to know theories and speculations, of course, if you don't know the source material. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.